Break Fix Podcast is all about capturing the living history of people from all over the autosphere, from wrench turners and racers to artists, authors, designers, and everything in between. Our goal is to inspire a new generation of petrol heads that wonder, how did they get that job or become that person? The road to success is paved by all of us because everyone has a story.
Le Mans 1959, the Underdog champion. The Simeone Museum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is proud to present Le Mans 1959, the Underdog champion, a demo day event celebrating the unlikely and impressive victory by a relatively small and underfunded Aston Martin team. At the time, the 24 Hours of Le Mans was dominated by larger, highly financed organizations such as Ferrari and Jaguar, who had access to more advanced technology and greater resources. Despite this, Aston Martin managed to pull off a stunning upset victory at the 1959 race with their DBR1, piloted by drivers Roy Salvadori and Carroll Shelby. During this demo day, visitors had the chance to see 3 of the most popular cars in the museum in action, learn from the team of experts about their design and engineering, and discover more about the intense competition and challenges of Le Mans during the late 1950s. The featured exhibition included cars like the 1956 Jaguar D Type, 1958 Aston Martin DBR1, and the 1958 Ferrari 250 Testarossa.
All car racing in the world, you could argue Le Mans is the biggest race in the world. Indy 500, that could be a challenge, but Le Mans, it's right at the top, and it's certainly beyond any other sports car race, even though there are tremendous sports car races. The Mille Miglia is the first one that comes to mind, 1,000 miles on public roads in Italy. But Le Mans was the feather in your cap. If you won, as Dr. Simeone liked to say, it was like winning the Super Bowl. Winning Le Mans, the drivers' names went down in history. Everybody knows, the drivers of these cars. You know the marks, and that's why Bill Lyons, all he cared about was winning Le Mans. They didn't enter many of the other races. They certainly didn't go after the championship, but they won Le Mans, and they did it consistently in the 1950s, and that sells cars. So it's a very big deal to win Le Mans. So let's see what we have here with our Underdog champion. Well, our Underdog champion, we're talking about Le Mans 1959, Aston Martin in this case. So if you're wearing green today, you're with the Underdog, you're a Philly guy. Now, let's take a quick look at our cars here, and that's what we call scrutineering. It's just a little technical look at our middle of the day. Start with the Jaguar D Type. Exciting, wonderful car, favorite of many of ours. Cast iron block, 6-cylinder, in-line, twin airbrake cam, 3.5 liters. However, after the 1955 Le Mans, tremendous action, and 80 people killed. The organizers reduced displacement down to 3 liters. They changed the rules for 1956, and in fact 1956 Le Mans wasn't even on the sports car championship calendar, where Le Mans was a race that you won on the sports car for the championship, it counted for double points. So here it is in 56, not even on the count. It was still a race, but not on the sports car championship. We have 4-speed gearbox, of course, it's a Moss gearbox. Not four-wheel independent suspension, it's a live axle in the back. Keep in mind what this car is built for. Le Mans, they almost didn't enter other things. They never went after the championship. They were after Le Mans. Winning the championship is great. Ferrari was the master of it. But if you just won Le Mans, you took all the press. The wind right out of the sails of the champion. The Le Mans winner got the news, and the Le Mans winner sold cars. So Bill Lyons running Jaguar, he was after Le Mans, not much else, and the cars were built for Le Mans. Alloy body, and of course, that's the important thing about this body is it's monocoque. The tubular chassis in these cars, and over there we actually have a monocoque. So that's big news in a sports car. Remember Mercedes in the early 50s, and they're giving us space frame and fuel injection and full independent and some pretty hot stuff, and you could buy that in a road car, a 300 SL. But going to a monocoque is really, that's jumping into the future. Malcolm Sayer, he's an aircraft designer out of World War II, comes on with Jaguar, and he's not just going aerodynamic, but he's going aeronautic airplane technology with that kind of construction. Light, rigid, strong. 350 horsepower, that sounds high. I think it's more like 270, 280. As we moved along, they start out around 250. As we travel along and we have 3 Webers, the C-Jag starts with 2 SUs, and we have Webers. Ultimately, fuel injected, Lucas fuel injection, no snickering. Power is going up and up all the time, and on the RD Jaguars. Suspension independent front, of course, by A-arms. We see its rack and pinion, you see the bellows on the steering rack. But the big news there that you're looking at is the disc brake. Four-wheel disc brakes. Jaguar, of course, in 51 at Le Mans are running disc brakes. Ferrari, we're still on drums right up to about 1960. Big news there, running disc brakes. And what's the advantage? Well, as you're running a race and brakes are getting hot, as they heat up, brakes are gassing, and that actually lessens the contact of the brake to its friction surface, and braking fades. Some of us are old enough, if you had drum brake American cars and you raced them around back in the day, the guys with the drum brake cars, they'd be pulling off and saying, I'm done, I have no more brakes. I had an MG. It's like, what are you guys talking about? I didn't know brakes went away from you, but guys would have to stop horsing around. The brakes were done. So the Jaguar on disc brakes was a big deal. Here we see the oiling system. We have an oil cooler. And important thing on the D Type is we want a low car. Malcolm Sayer is an aerodynamist. He wants a low car. Get that engine down low. He even leaned it over a little bit. Took the sump off the bottom. Now we have an oil tank remotely, so we have this dry sucked engine. We're pumping oil to the engine from a remote tank, getting a lower car. And you'll even see that the bump on the hood is offset to one side. It's all about aerodynamics on that car. The rear differential and the body is a center section that is our monocoque, and we have a rear section bolted on, a front section bolted on, holding suspension, holding the engine. So this is just added to it. When you see the hood up and you see some struts running out, it's not because it's a tube chassis, that's a bolted on attachment to hold the engine and front suspension. And here's that wonderful engine. And why wonderful? Why do we point out this engine so much? Because it's a passenger car engine. Jaguar comes out with this engine in 1949 with twin air brake cam, inline six, and it's just tremendous. They go racing at Le Mans, they're winning at Le Mans with basically a passenger car engine. Ferrari is out there killing it. They're winning the sports car championship, but that's a special purpose-built engine that would cost a fortune to put into a passenger car. You'd have to have a very high-priced car, which of course Ferraris, when you could buy a passenger car Ferrari, they were very pricey. Jaguars were cheap. You could buy Jaguars for the price of Corvette and such, so they weren't like a high-priced car. Of course, buying a race car like a C-Type or a D-Type, that's different, but the factory wasn't going to sell you or I one of those. They went to racers. And then moving on to the Testarossa. So there's a beauty. Has that body by Scaglietti with the cutaways, and they only made a few of those, and they went to a more normal looking design that's looking for maybe more airflow around the brakes. Let's see what our specs are. Well, there we see the drum brakes. As we point out the difference from the D-Type, which is already running on four-wheel disc, and we're running on four-wheel drum. It sounds maybe backward, but when you perfect something, and it's working, and they do work well, the other guy has an advantage, but there's also a disadvantage to new technology. Sometimes it fails. So Ferrari sit back and let them prove it out, let it get developed. They have a well-developed drum brake system, and Ferrari sticks with it. So we have 3 liters, V12, that's pretty hot, but Ferrari had a penchant for the V12. Okay, the Born stroke there, 4-speed gearbox, and 300 horse. Really exquisite car, and you love how they sound when you have all those cylinders on it. Of course, it's all very lightweight. This is not a passenger car engine. The Ferrari engine is a thoroughbred piece of work. We see the sump down below, all finned in aluminum for cooling. Up on top, super cool, we have that row of rubber carburetors downdraft. In fact, on these cars, they moved the spark plugs outboard so they could have that interesting and efficient carburetor setup. Now the spark plugs are on the outside with the exhaust manifolds. And we see even the gearbox is beautifully made with cooling fins. 4-speed, of course. And there we see the chassis. So big news, monocoque in the Jaguar. The Ferrari is on not a space frame, but a tubular frame. I see a little bit of stepping towards space frame with the triangulation and such. A space frame is when all of your angles are very carefully figured out to not have anything but tension on your tubes. You don't have the tube under pressure where it can bend. It's all under tension. Sometimes maybe compression, and that would be a space frame. So moving up to the DBR1, doesn't get prettier than that. Not for a British car. Specs, alloy body, super lightweight. With this car, we like to say if you lean on it with your fingertips, you're going to have 10 dents in that car. So super lightweight. I love the wheels. We're on alloy wheels here as we are on the other cars. And in the Jaguar's case, alloy disc wheels, and then Barani's here. Look how light that looks. I think one person could carry that. It's all small diameter tubes, And they're arranged in a way for maximum strength, and that's when we start calling it a space chassis, the space frame. And then, of course, the beautiful lightweight body. So tubular space frame, where all of our frame is carefully constructed with engineering behind everything, and tubes are in tension or in compression or avoiding bending forces on the tube. Make it stronger and lighter. If you really do things correctly, you can save a tremendous amount of weight and make it strong or stronger. So 3-liter inline 6-cylinder, similar to the Jaguar, twin overhead cam. 5-speed gearbox in this case. They don't use it in every race, but at Le Mans, that's a useful thing at Le Mans. 250 horsepower. David Brand, of course, is the managing director. And there's a little diagram of the cockpit. You look in there, it's pretty aircraft looking with all these switches, and study that, you're ready to take it out. There's that beautiful engine. Weber carburetors on one side, flowing across the cylinder head to go out the exhaust. Just super lightweight, very rigid. And then moving on to the 250 GT Ferrari. 3-liter, 1959. It's a 3-liter race for the class. 12 cylinders, 3 Weber carburetors, drum brakes, of course, 5-speed gearbox, and 240 horse. Pictures here from the brochure. But what do we see in this picture? We see a pretty simple chassis layout. It's tube frame, but nothing like a space frame. And of course, a wonderful engine with a V12. That's kind of our technical look at the cars. We're looking at some real pure racing machine right here. D Type, 250 TR, DBR1, and a 250 GT. So cars that we love. Leading up to 1959, Le Mans 24. The team managers know this is tough. The manufacturers tend to know this is tough. Everybody knows it's tough except Henry Ford. He found out. Aston Martin has been going after it. David Brown, who takes over the company, he's very serious about competition, and he wants this Le Mans win. David Brown builds tractors and what have you. I think he's a lot in the mold of Bill Lyons. He knows if he can win Le Mans, not only is it a huge boost to your personal ego and such, but he's a manufacturing guy. He can turn that maybe in some ways to his advantage commercially as well. They're running the DB3S. It's a beautiful car. It looks very much like this, especially when you see them in the Aston Martin green. It's a metallic, soft green. That's Aston Martin green. They get Moss on board. They're just not doing it though. They're doing okay, but they're not getting the job done. They're not winning Le Mans. They're not threatening the championship. DB3 is a wonderful car, but we have Everhorst's assistant. He kind of goes around his boss to Jaguar and suggests that we redesign and come out with a new car, a lighter car. So after the DB3S just doesn't do it at Le Mans, they go back to the drawing board and we come up with a DBR1. That's Jaguar bragging. That's what Jaguar puts out after winning Le Mans again. And what they had 1951, 1953, 55, 6, 7. That's really doing the job. We have Mercedes winning in 52 when the Jaguars end up DNFing. You know, they have oiling problems and overheating problems, and Jaguar takes that win. Ferrari right in the middle there with a win in 1954, which is also a championship win for them. As we said earlier, Le Mans, you could have double points in the championship from Le Mans. So in 1958, we have a Ferrari win. We have Jaguar cleaning up through the 50s. Jaguar actually kind of quits. They hand over cars to teams that are competing at courier costs, notably who wins Le Mans with them. Cunningham team are running the Jaguars. But Jaguar is now sitting this out. It's a very expensive thing. They were in it to accomplish something which they did at Le Mans repeatedly. Ferrari is in the game for a different reason. He is just a competitor. Win or lose, Ferrari's going to be in the battle forever. Talk about getting out of the battle. One of our heroes, Shelby, who has teamed up with Phil Hill. They win in 58. They're teamed up again for 59, even though Champien's wife is trying to get him to retire. He's had 24 acquaintances, friends, co-competitors that have died just in his time of racing. 24. That's insane, and he has children, and the wife wants him to quit. But he's in our game for 1959. Champion retires after 4 Le Mans wins. Okay, so there we go. Now we're looking at the championship. Championship is Ferrari's world. 1953 is when the World Sports Car Championship begins, and it's won by Ferrari. And they repeat. What do we have? We have a break in 55 with Mercedes. Moss wins the Mille Miglia for Mercedes. The cars are amazing, technically superior. They win the championship, but after that Le Mans accident, they retire. So Mercedes gets out of the picture and they're not in a race for 1959. 56 championship, 7, 8, it's Ferrari all day. They also go on, they win in 62, 63, 64. Finally in 65, the Shelby Coupes win the GT championship in 65, first time for an American car. That's another story. Here we have Ferrari coming to look to repeat the 1958 win. Of course, hopefully the championship as well. I would think that's more important to Ferrari than even the Le Mans win. But the Le Mans win is important for the championship, so they're there and they're serious. So Phil Hill, Jean-Bien again, our team. And how about Aston Martin? Well, they fall short of a couple of Le Mans almost. Second place in the championship as well, behind Ferrari, of course. By the way, the cars that are winning the championship Ferrari are like the 375 Millimillia, you see it right in Le Mans Row, 250 TR. These cars win in 54, TR in 58. Who do we have for Aston? We have Reg Parnell as team manager, John Myers is on board with them. And they are serious about Le Mans. It's David Brand's team. Reg had been a driver. He was with Van Wall before Aston Martin, 1950 Goodwood Trophy, 55 Silverstone. Funny thing with him, he went into Formula One when Formula One was brand new, and they had the first Formula One race, and Parnell's in it, 1947, and it's a clean sweep for the British. 3 ERAs win. ERA, English Racing Automobile. They're the only 3 that even finished. So clean sweep for the Brits, and their chief rivals, the French, where were they? They're stranded on a ship, stuck in ice. So that was an easy day. Easy day for the Brits in the first Grand Prix race. But he's a team manager of Aston Martin in 1959. John Wyer, we know him much later with Ford GTs and D Jaguars, and he just had a great career as well. So 12 hours of Sebring, we have Ferrari beginning their championship season with a nice 1-2 finish at Sebring. Keep in mind, when you finish second, finish third, these are more points. You don't just get points for finishing first. How your cars get through the field are very important for a championship. Aston Martin, they did well at Nürburgring. 1,000 kilometers of Nürburgring. We have Moss in 59 winning for the second time, and it's the third time in a row for Aston Martins to win at the Nürburgring. 1,000 kilometers, it's on the championship calendar. They managed to keep in the running by taking this one. 1959, we have Le Mans coming up after Nürburgring. It's just a few weeks later. Of course, Aston Martin is all excited after a win, beating the heavy opposition, to go and try to do it again at the big show. One of our heroes, Sterling Moss, on the Aston Martin team. Moss is also driven for Jaguar, he's driven for Mercedes. Remember, he won the Millimillia for Mercedes in 55. This is typical of the era. Now we're used to certain names being attached to certain marks because they race with them so long. You know, you say Schumacher, Ferrari, right? These guys, they stay with teams now. Christensen. You only think of one car when you think of our Le Mans heroes and our champions. But in Moss's day, these guys bounced around. Whoever offered them the best deal, the best ride, whatever suited their desires, and whatever deal they could make. So Moss, he's with Aston Martins. Of course, he's really, as a young man with Jaguar, really showed the way. So he's with Jaguar for 51 to 54, Mercedes 54 to 56, Maserati, Aston Martin, goes on Lotus, and he drove for anybody and anything. He drove every weekend. If you had a Formula 2 race, he'd jump in it. If you're racing saloon cars, he'd jump in it. So competing with everything. Definitely, we want to say 2 times winning with Aston Martin and the Nürburgring, and that's the 3rd one for Aston. So Moss is competing also in Formula. One of his main competitors, another Brit, Mike Hawthorne. You know, it's all about points, and they're in a points contested championship race, and Hawthorne spins out, he's facing the wrong way in the course, the car is stalled, and Moss, as a competitor, but he's shouting over to Hawthorne, he's like, just roll down and bump started. And there are very stringent rules about what you can do out on the track. But Hawthorne lets the car all the way bump starts, gets back in the race, and he's flagged for this after the race. There's a penalty, and Moss defends him about what happened. And Hawthorne gets the points for whatever he finished in the race. Hawthorne ends up winning the championship over Moss. Moss had won 4 races, and Hawthorne, I think, had won 1. Moss had won plenty more races, but Hawthorne was ahead by 1 point, and he got the championship. And another part of that story is they're in the race, and Hawthorne leading, and they Moss's pit shows a sign saying what Moss needs to beat him. Moss needs to set a fastest lap. It gives you extra championship points. He misreads the sign and he doesn't go for fastest lap. Hawthorne had the fastest lap. So Moss loses that championship. A championship he never achieved. Of all the great drivers, certainly of all the great British drivers, he's the one that never won a championship that we consider him to be champion. So there's Jack Fairman. He's co-driving with Moss in this race at 59 Le Mans, but they've co-driven together in other events, Nürburgring. And Fairman is like Mr. Steady. He's reliable. He doesn't get in trouble. Moss, you have the speed. With Fairman, you have reliability, and so that they make a fine team. And Moss wins also with him in the Tourist Trophy, so they team up well together. One thing sometimes is personalities can be a problem in racing. You might have one guy in the car, but you have two guys sharing a car in these endurance races, and personalities can lead to issues. There's, of course, Carroll Shelby, our own American Texas chicken farmer, and Maurice Salvadori teamed up with Shelby. So Shelby, Salvadori, racing with Aston. Shelby has a little bit of a thing with Ferrari. They've spoken about Shelby maybe coming on the Ferrari team, and there are some issues. Shelby already has a little bit of a grudge, a little chip on his shoulder regarding Ferrari. But he's in a car that they're hoping to compete well. And Maurice Salvadori partnered with Shelby, so they're receiving with Ferrari and Aston Martin. Interesting thing with both of these fellas, they both passed away within, I think, a month of each other. Okay, Maurice Trintignant, also on our team. So here we have him winning the 54 Tourist Trophy, 55 and 85 Monaco, I don't know about that. And 1953, 54, he's at Le Mans. He's with all kinds of great outfits. He's with Maserati, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Porsche, as we've seen in this time. These guys move around. One thing, he had a nickname. His nickname was Le Petit Le. And he got that because he owned a Bugatti that he raced on his own. It was stored in the barn, and after the war, he was prepping his Bugatti for the Coupe de Liberation. It's like the first big race after the war. And he has problems with the car. The fuel filter is plugged with rat droppings. And so he gets this nickname, Le Petit Le, means the rat droppings man. How'd you like to carry that with you? But that's Maurice Trintignant. And there's Paul Ferrari, and he's runs in the championship. He has 11 Formula One points. We have him with Porsche in the 50s, Aston Martin Jaguar, Aston Martin's Ferrari. So he's all over, and he has a 1960 Le Mans win in the future. So Paul Ferrari also in our race. And then let's talk about the Jaguar team. We have Jaguar now dropped from 3.5 liters to 3 liters. The factory is out. The cars are with private teams, at Curry Cost notably, who had won Le Mans with them previously, and Lister. Now we have some special body Jaguar engine cars. So Frank Costin designing some very slippery and fast Jaguar engine cars. We're looking for Jaguars to be very fast on the Mulsanne, faster than ever. And of course, we already know they're reliable. You can win Le Mans with a Jaguar. You do win Le Mans with a Jaguar. Okay, there's the Ferrari team. So that's the Ferrari factory team, but we also have privateers. We have like 5 privateers in the race as well. So Ferrari is looking very strong. Why so strong? They're reliable. They finish races. Aston Martin has had problems in the past. Ferrari finishes races, and they're the fastest car in the race. They are fastest in practice. And Moss with Aston's in his book, he says, I think this is going to be Ferrari's race, but Aston is there to fight. 3 250s are the factory team for Ferrari. Also, as we say, the privateers, we have a North American racing team. That's Luigi Canetti running NART. And Canetti, he's one of our heroes. He drives in 12 consecutive 24 hours of Le Mans. Incredible. He wins 3 times for Alfa Romeo in the 30s, and then again for Ferrari in 1953 with the 166. So Luigi Canetti, definitely one of our heroes here at the Simeone. And this car is on loan by his son, Luigi Canetti. Thank you, Mr. Canetti. Aston Martin, they are an efficiently run team. They're very professional. They're small, they're not financed that great, not like Ferrari. They'll put everything into it, so financing whatever nickel he's got is going into it. Jaguar, they were selling cars, they were doing healthy, and they did well, but they were smart enough to get out because of financing. And Aston Martin, they're doing the best they can. And one thing they can do that is just be efficient, plan ahead, and they do this very thoroughly. Reg Parnell leading the way, and they have notes for everybody, instructions for everybody, What we don't know, but there's rumorings over in Ferrari that you have problems. You have some of these guys are prima donnas. So Jean Barra, he's on the Ferrari team, and he has a little bit of a bug about how they're doing things. He's already miffed before the race even starts, and he stalls on the line. He's upset because of the kind of race he wants to run, and the management is telling him, no, this is how you're going to do it and such. So there's maybe a little ruffling of feathers over in the Ferrari team. The Aston team, Moss says, get along famously. He says all the drivers are easygoing. He likes being on this team. If anybody there could be a prima donna, it could be him. But he says, no, we don't have any issues among the drivers, with the management nice and calm over at Aston's, and with good planning by Rich Barnell. Here's part of the plan. Rich Barnell was like, Moss, your job, you have the fastest car. They give him a higher powered car. You can make a Le Mans car higher powered. Why? Because Le Mans is a 24-hour race. You do not go for ultimate power when you build your car. You go conservatively, less stress. You need to finish this race to win this race. However, you can get more power out of these cars, and Moss's Aston is a little higher on the power end. Not only that, his instructions, he is told he can run as high as 6,100 RPM. The others are held back a little onto that, maybe 58, 5,900 RPM in top gear on the Mulsanne. Moss, he's told, run 6,000. If you get a draft behind a Ferrari, they're the faster cars, to get up to 6,100. And why is that? Why do you have the fastest guy and the fastest car? Let's get those Ferraris running hard. Because the Aston team, they kind of look at like the really only chance to beat Ferrari is to break Ferrari. So they want these Ferraris to race amongst each other. They know they have very competitive guys in there. There's some issues between the drivers that they'll want to race each other anyway. Let's throw a fast Aston in there too and egg them on. So that's the plan for our Aston team. Here we see the Le Mans start. What do? If you see an earlier picture in the book, Moss is down like this. Moss is very often the first guy in the car and the first car away. He might be 8 cars back. Many races, he's the first car down the stretch. He's a healthy looking guy. He's only about my height. In later days, quite a bit shorter. Not a big guy, but he's well built. He looks athletic. He works out. He's good in the sprint, whether it's on his feet or in the car. So often the first guy into the car. So here they are running for the cars. That was Moss closest to us. And who gets away first? Number 4. That's Moss. Right next to him, Innes Ireland, and Jaguar number 3. So Moss away, right away, doing his job, putting that Aston out front. These guys are racers. You can't tease them like that. They have to chase that rabbit. Ferrari's got the fastest car. Barra stalls on the line and everybody's gone. They're halfway around before he even gets into the race. However, what's he do? He's going to make that up. So he is really pushing hard. And there we have Trintignant and Ferrari number 6. That number 6 is sideways. They didn't crash out, but another Aston did crash out, I think at the White House. But Barra, he sets fastest lap, passes Moss on the Mulsanne. Keep in mind, he's in a Ferrari. He's got a faster car. Just at it no matter what. He's ignoring team instructions, whatever they may be. And he's running 9,000 plus RPM on the Mulsanne. And what does that do? From starting out at the back of the pack, tears his way through the pack, passes the leaders. He's going hell-bent. And that's exactly what Reg Parnell running Aston team wants to see. And by the time that we get to our first allowed driver changes, which is 30 laps in, we have Barra already with overheating problems in his fast leading Ferrari. Gregory and Ireland moving up to second place in the across Jaguar D, who are they chasing Barra in that fast Ferrari. So 3 hours in, and we have Barra, Gurney, team Ferrari, leading 40 seconds over Moss in second now, and the Jaguar moving up. 9 p.m. they have a Jaguar in second. Tojiro, another Jaguar engine car, is in fourth. So the Jaguars, who of course had been winning Le Mans in the 50s, are still a potent rival. What do we have by 10 o'clock, 70th lap in, and Ireland, Gregory, Jaguar in second place, and Moss and Fairman in the Aston in third place. Both go out, engine problems. Lose the second and third place cars to attrition. Then in third, we have the DBR1 of Shelby and Salvadori. They're laying back. They're playing by the rules. They have specific directions, how many RPMs can you run. So they're not running full out. They're sitting back, waiting to see what happens, because they know if they go head-to-head to Ferrari, how can you go head-to-head to the 58 winner, the champions? Their cars are durable. Their cars are faster. You would have to exhaust yourself running against them and only pray that they break. the only thing you would do if you went head-to-head. So second place Jag is out. So Phil Hill and Jean-Bien laying back a little bit, letting things clear out, let some of these cars overheat and get out of the way, and they take into the lead. Aston Martin, they're now in second and third behind Phil Hill and Jean-Bien. One thing happens now, it's late at night, 2 a.m. Aston Martin, the second place car with Shelby Salvadori. Salvadori's driving, and he gets a terrible vibration in the car. I'm not sure if the transmission's coming apart, rear axle's blowing up, something bad is happening. Pulls into the pits, lets them know. Parnell's like, get out there and do 3 more laps because you have to do your 30-lap interval. And then you come in, we can refuel, we can change the driver, we're allowed to do what we want on the car, that's a proper pit stop. Salvadori kind of nurses around, reduces speed, a couple slow laps in this heavily vibrating car, gets into the laps at his designated time. And all it is a tire. They had no trouble with tires, but here it is, a tire that was throwing its tread pieces of tread, were all jammed up in the car, and it's shaking itself to pieces. It's kind of funny because they come into the pits and Salvadori's like, the transmission's blowing up, this or that, it's coming apart. Rich Parnell hops in the car, they have it jacked up, he starts it, he says, change the left tire. So sometimes you don't really want the drivers telling you what's wrong, you just want them giving you the symptoms. Don't interpret it, give us the symptoms. Occasionally you have a driver who's a proper engineer. Sometimes you have good engineers who are drivers. They might do better, but you typically don't want a driver telling you what's wrong. You just want them to tell you what it feels like. 19 hours of racing, and it looks like it's going to be Ferrari's day because we have 14 teamed by Jean-Bien and Hill leading the way, and the field is down to only 23 competitors now at this point, and Ferrari's just doing it and pulling away. Porsches are holding the next 4 spots after the second place Aston. Porsche, that's a small displacement car. These guys are 1,500 cc's and 2 liters. They are running hard and like a train behind the leaders. And then after these very fast Porsches who are probably running beyond where they should be, because then we have 4 Ferraris, this car included, and the next spot after them. We have the Ferraris running in the GT class, and if all the leaders break out, they're going to make a charge. So it's looking pretty strong for Ferrari. We have a lot of Ferraris still competitive. One thing happens with Porsche, we have Bagnaia in 4th and goes out with clutch problems. Then another team car, a works Porsche, goes out with a busted gearbox. Then we have the Dutch Porsche that moves up in the 4th, and they break their engine, and we're down to 1 Porsche in no time. Now suddenly we have an American-entered Porsche back and forth. 20 hours in, Shelby's closing the gap on the Ferrari a bit, but what do you do when you're leading? You don't have to keep pushing. Jean-Bien and Hill, they can run a little bit easy, so it doesn't mean that Aston has gotten suddenly faster. It probably means the leaders are conserving their car. 24 hours, you need to be there at the end. As we said at the beginning when we're talking about the management, Rich Parnell and Aston Martin, it takes some luck, it takes hard work. Certainly at Le Mans, 24 hours, luck is a nice thing to have, and sometimes it's bad. So here we are, we're on Sunday, and a bit before noon, and the lead Ferrari is slowing down and sputtering down, and then takes off again. You know, what is this, fuel supply? It's obviously having some issues. They've been leading for 9 hours. They have a 3-lap lead. Le Mans is a long course. What is it, 7 miles back then? Ferrari leading 3 of those laps. Should be in the bag, but there's some problem with the lead Ferrari. After overheating, Jean-Bien hits the lead Ferrari, and Aston Martin are able to make up those 3 laps, make up that deficit and go into the lead. And the last Porsches also go out at this time. That's the way it goes at Le Mans. You have to be there to finish. It looked like it should be a Hill, Jean-Bien, Ferrari, a repeat of 1958. And they're there Sunday. They're looking at the finish line. It's only a couple more hours, and the car overheats, and they're done. They've been running too hot a pace. The Astons have been conservative. They're losing seconds on every lap, losing those seconds, but they're running a more moderate race, easier RPMs. So we have Shelby and Salvadori coming in and winning for Aston Martin. It's an incredible thing for Aston Martin. This has been David Brown's dream for 10 years. Let me give you an idea about those laps. Moss have been doing 4 minutes and a second. That was his lap times. Remember, he's in the hot car, he's putting in the fast laps. And the other Astons are running 4 minutes and 20 seconds, so they're running 19 seconds slower. That doesn't sound like a lot. Add that up over 24 hours, and you see that those cars are running easier. That was Reg Parnell's direction, to conserve the cars a bit Aston takes the lead. We have Salvadori drops his speed down to 4 minutes and 50 seconds per lap because he was going to threaten them. The Ferraris are well back in the field. They finish on a fairly easy pace. It's Aston Martin's finest hour. David Brown, in his Sunday best, hops into the winning car and goes around on the parade lap, jumping for joy. This guy is just ebullient, totally overjoyed. He can't believe it. Finally, a Le Mans victory. He's riding the victory lap. There we see him with Salvadori holding the champagne. That's a good sign. Shelby, take it easy. It's definitely an earned victory for Aston's. They put in years of hard work, planning, and disappointments, but they kept their race strategy, and Ferrari was just all over the place, just go for broke. So that race strategy probably made all the difference getting this win. So what do we have there? 2 outstanding 1959 triumphs. Nürburgring 1000 with Moss, and now Shelby and Salvadori taking Le Mans. Could it get any better than this? Ferrari finishes 3rd, 4th, and 5th. This car here finishing 6th. So there's a team of Ferraris going around, but they're the GT cars. They're a little bit off of what the limit would be. 3rd car home, 26 laps behind. We have Aston Martin, and 26 laps, 7 miles per lap. We have a bunch of privately entered Ferraris coming in. So all these Ferraris finish. Ferrari is a finisher. If they didn't get into this mad rush and competition with each other, they probably would have had a lead car up there. Hill and Jean-Bien did a pretty fine job, but ultimately they did not make that finish. And so Le Mans 59 goes to Aston. Not only that, but Aston wins the World Championship. They win the World Sports Car Championship in 1959 as well. But how about the Shelby team? Shelby's sick for the whole race. He's racing with nitroglycerin under his tongue. Team management, they don't know that he's a heart patient. Salvadori is sick with the flu. His teammate is sick with the flu. Trintignant driving with a burnt foot. These cars were so hot, all the drivers, Moss in his book was saying, the accelerator pedal would get so hot on this long race that Trintignant has a badly burnt foot. He didn't want to give up. He didn't want to go out and let his co-driver Ferrari come in late because he had more driving time. He felt he was in the rhythm. Aston team does not as well as the cars. There we go. Shelby drives some nitroglycerin, but he still maintains enough energy to celebrate. There he is with Miss Europe. And so we have Aston Martin's only Le Mans win, only sports car championship. Does it sound like Aston Martin is our hero, is our underdog hero today? You bet. How about Ferrari? 9 times Le Mans wins, 15 sports car championships. Aston Martin, they quit sports car racing right after this. They decided to concentrate on Grand Prix, and they quit that too. It's just too tough, it's expensive. Ferrari is the ultimate competitor. I'm talking about Enzo Ferrari. He is the ultimate competitor. We're going to give today to Aston Martin, but if you're in for the long haul, Ferrari's got to be your horse. 15 sports car championships, and all those Le Manses yet to come. Very remarkable for all our teams here. Jaguar with the 50s, Aston Martin with their 1, and Ferrari really the leader in this whole game. Of course, bragging rights, we got a little publication here, DBR1 success story. This was also John Barra's last race. He got fired from the Ferrari team. He hammered his car so hard, and Ferrari was going to take that, and he axed him. And Barra, unfortunately, dies just a couple weeks later in sports car racing in his own Porsche at Davis. Also, it's one of the last races for Webb, who was a double Le Mans winner, and he was killed in an F1 race shortly after this. And the story there is you have triumph and you have tragedy. That is truly sports car racing. And thank you. Thanks for joining us.
If you'd like to learn more about the Simeone Foundation Museum or schedule a visit, be sure to check out www.simeonemuseum.org, where you can find upcoming demo days as well as ways to support the museum and keep racing history alive. More videos and information can be found on gtmotorsports.org and our YouTube channel at Grand Touring Motorsports Media.
If you like what you've heard and want to learn more about GTM, be sure to check us out on www.gtmotorsports.org. You can also find us on Instagram at Grand Touring Motorsports. Also, if you want to get involved or have suggestions for future shows, you can call or text us at 202-630-1770 or send us an email at crewchief@gtmotorsports.org. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey everybody, Crew Chief Eric here.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Break Fix, and we wanted to remind you that GTM remains a no annual fees organization, and our goal is to continue to bring you quality episodes like this one at no charge. As a loyal listener, please consider subscribing to our Patreon for bonus and behind-the-scenes content, extra goodies, and GTM swag. For as little as $2.50 a month, you can keep our developers, writers, editors, casters, and other volunteers fed on their strict diet of Fig Newtons, gummy bears, and Monster. Consider signing up for Patreon today at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. And remember, without fans, supporters, and members like you, none of this would be possible.